Hi guys, I got asked recently on one of my transcription labs on Skool, what is the reason that we transcribe and play along with recorded solos by other musicians? By the way, my Skool account, just to let you know, is a place where people get together and discuss learning jazz violin. It's also a place that you can get hold of all of my teaching content on here if you are interested in learning more about jazz violin or developing your own playing a little bit more. Maybe you've been playing for a while, maybe you're just new to this. It's still a great place for both of those types of people. It's a place where I spend most of my time trying to inspire other people to practice and to get better at playing jazz violin. It's completely free to join, and you can get a bunch of free courses on there also. Get hold of that in the link in the description. So yeah, I was asked by one of my students, what is the reason that we play along with solos that have already been played and improvised by somebody else? I have a bunch of things that I think that we get from doing that, and I break it down fully in this video that's coming up now.
So, like I said, it's sort of about a mixture of things, right? You're going to get a number of things out of it. You're going to get material, so you're going to get, how did this person think about music, and how did they think about the chords and some lines that you can play. Like, even just directly, a very direct thing is it's a place to farm sort of language that builds up sort of jazz language, and build your own jazz language up of lines that you can play over chord changes. So that's a very direct thing that you get from it. But then you're also you're starting to get the intricacies of timing down a little bit more, and you start to understand sort of how that sort of swing feel works, different ways of playing around with the beat and sort of fitting in with the beat. You get people's sort of rhythmic intricacies as well as their lines. The last thing is like the actual playing along with it, like what you get from that. And I think that's the thing, one of the things that you get the most out of, in a way, because you get the chance to play really great music. Often when we get to jazz, or when we get to anything, right? But actually jazz specifically, right? When we first get to jazz, we've spent a lot of time playing other music, perhaps. You must have done. Maybe playing classical music, and you've spent all of that time playing great music, right? You're playing that all the time, because you're playing music by some of the greatest composers ever alive, right? That's what you're doing, and you're doing that regularly, and you're playing music, right? Every time you play, you're playing this great music. You might be needing to make your playing better, right? You might need to execute that great music better, but you are playing really good music. And when we get to jazz, what we do is we're improvising, and we're new to doing this. So what we're playing might not always be great music, right? Do you know what I mean? It might be good, and it might be and it's you, which is great, and that's a large part of jazz, and it needs to be a large part of jazz, playing and finding your own sound. However, we miss playing that great music, and we miss playing that great, and when I say great music, I don't mean just like good, I mean like great music. I'm talking about, if we're playing classical music, you're playing Bach partitas. This is like, some of the best music ever written. And then you go to play jazz, and you're only playing you, and you're new to jazz, so that music isn't great. It isn't. Like, I don't think my music is great. The point is not to perform these solos at a gig. Like, that's not what you do. You might do it, as a sort of joke, an in-joke with other musicians. Like, hey, I'm playing the Parker solo on this tune. And other musicians will go, hey, whatever. But you wouldn't play the whole thing or whatever. It's not about how you're not going to perform that at a gig. What you're doing is but you are using it as a practice tool, and you're practicing along, and you're getting to play some of the best music ever improvised. If you're practicing along to a Grappelli solo, you're playing, great music there, and it feels good. It feels really good, and that enforces like a love of playing jazz. In my opinion, that's what happens to me. As well as that, you just from a learning perspective, on this last point that I've got about, I'm saying you've got 3 points in a way. You've got material, you're getting timing, and then you're getting that feeling of playing great music. But you're like, understanding what a great solo is, like playing it over and over again, and understanding where the space can, how much space there can be, and how much, and where someone might bring up the intensity in their solo, and where someone might play more notes or play less notes, or suddenly fall back. And you can get that from listening, right? If you're very good at listening, or you like to intently listen, then you can get that from listening. But it feels great to play that, and to get an understanding of like, what does it feel like to play a great solo. So that last point, I guess, is what you're asking in a way. It's like what is the objective of playing along to that recording, and that in a way is I would say that's the main objective.
Hope you enjoyed the video. If you would like to join my school, please do so in the description in this video. Thanks very much. See you later.